So that we've had some time for the trailer reaction videos and the trailer breakdown videos to kind of settle, let's talk about all the characters that we don't know for sure in the movie and ones that we kind of seen in the movie but didn't really get like direct like, yeah, they are. So what I mean by that is let's talk about like Kabal, Reptile, Reiko, Shao Kahn, Kitana, and possibly more. So first up, let's talk about Kabal. So in my breakdown video that a lot of people point out, I thought that this was actually, he's in 2 scenes, but I thought he was only in 1 scene. So I kind of wanted to clarify on that. So we have Kabal, who is, now that we know, is in the scene where Liu Kang is basically having his fire dragon animality come out, and he is the small figure that we see in a blur. Of course, if you zoom in, we now know that you can see his blades, you know, his kind of shears, whatever you want to call them. And then when in another scene we have where Liu Kang is fighting somebody, I thought based on his costume, which was just more generic black kind of ninja style, that it was just some crony or thug, but this is actually Kabal. Now, I know myself and maybe a couple other people can add that I'm used to Kabal from like Mortal Kombat 3, you know, more of like this kind of mask and kind of like dreads of some kind and like more black, gray, and brown going on with some white. So in the color scheme that we have so far, unless we see like really up close or in better detail in the movie, it's kind of hard to tell it's Kabal. I'm sure some people are like, oh, I knew it was Kabal, but I think a lot of people had a hard time figuring out that it was Kabal. But now that we know for sure this is Kabal, and more than likely he's going to die at the hands of Liu Kang, but I'm hoping, just hoping, maybe he'll become an ally and maybe like, you know, he turns good and then Kang will go the bad side so it kind of evens things out. All right, next up, let's talk about Reptile. So in my breakdown video, we have the scene where it looks like someone is kind of manifesting into the scene. So what I mean by that is we have a scene where Cole Young and Sonya are basically theorizing or discussing something in her room with all the stuff on the walls. And we have this being that's like kind of teleporting in or manifesting in, watching them like he's about to attack them. And so as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, that reminds me of Reptile, or that has to be Reptile because, you know, that would be more of, you know, invisibility, kind of reminds me of Predator, that kind of thing. So that's something that Reptile would do. So I assume it was Reptile. Let me know in the comments if you think that is Reptile, if you agree with me. And then in a later scene with Kano, we have Kano fighting this being that I'm still not on board with. It reminds me of something from Ninja Turtles or Power Rangers, but nonetheless, we have this creature, this monster, with very kind of reptile-esque features, and some are assuming that's like a monster form of Reptile. So in the scene where he's manifesting, if we're assuming this is Reptile and not some, you know, outworld species like the Saurians or something like that, I think it's all possible that it could be Reptile in more of a reptilian humanoid form where he has like armor and a sword, and then he, you know, cranks it up to full scale and transforms into this beast. But I'm kind of hoping maybe the first one is Reptile, maybe the second one's not, because I don't want Reptile to die. I mean, he dies in all the movies. I mean, he died in the first one, obviously, but I think his death was a little bit better than just having his heart ripped out by Kano. So we'll have to wait and see. But let me know in the comments what you think it was Reptile. All right, next up is Reiko. So this one is a little bit more difficult to try to pinpoint because a lot of people are thinking that the scene with Jax, where Jax is about to basically, I think, squish someone's head or knock them out or something, that is Reiko. Now, we don't know for sure because if you look at some of the scenes, it's kind of hard to tell. And usually Reiko from the game and even the comics, he has more, you know, these kind of like black kind of diamond things on his eyes. You know, it's kind of like a black mask around his eyes. You know, his hair is kind of slicked back in like a little skinny ponytail, which this guy seems to have. But other than that, it's kind of hard to tell who he is. He's not really wearing any kind of like redness, which I know in this movie, not all the color schemes are fully fleshed out. They're kind of really, really toned down. So it's kind of hard to see. He has like some metal plating on his arm, but nothing that I've seen matches that. As far as Reiko specific, I think most time Reiko just has like no sleeve with like a band or something, armband. Also, I will say as far as Reiko goes, there was like a behind the scenes I saw on Twitter where like a bunch of people were just kind of talking with like a set and green screen stuff. And in the back, there's like a picture that kind of lays out some characters, and it's like Reptile, Reiko, and some other ones. So I think that also kind of confirms that Reiko will be in the movie, but hopefully not as the guy that Jax is fighting. All right, next up is Kitana. So we saw in the trailer that we have Kitana's fan in what appears to be a temple that Raiden and the good guys can kind of, you know, call their home. And we thought, okay, for sure, she must exist in the Mortal Kombat universe. She has to exist somewhere. Or maybe she's a prisoner, or, you know, she's going to show up later in the movie. We don't know. But we do know that Mel Johnson was cast in this movie and has not had a role stated yet. So we're assuming that could be Kitana. Other possibilities, she could be like Tanya, Jade, maybe Sindel. We don't know. But so far, given that this clue that Kitana's fan is in there, will she make an appearance? Will Mel Johnson be making an appearance in this movie as Kitana? I think it's all possible that she could be. I think it's probably likely that she could be like a prisoner. Maybe when they go to Outworld, they rescue her and maybe she helps them in the end in fighting. Or maybe she shows up at the very end after like Shang Tsung maybe gets killed. I don't know. We don't know yet. But maybe something along those lines. Maybe she is. Or maybe when they cut to like an end credit scene, she's a prisoner for Shao Kahn or something. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see, but I think that why would you cast this person and not use them, or, you know, why is there nothing on her IMDb that tells us who she is? Finally, let's talk about Shao Kahn's. And this one I think is a guarantee because Nathan Johnson has been cast as him, and we do see in one scene, actually a couple of scenes and video clips where Nathan Johnson in one post is like swinging Shao Kahn's hammer. Clearly looks like Shao Kahn's hammer. And then we also see statue of Shao Kahn, which I thought was freaking awesome, and I even put it in my thumbnail for my reaction video. So we know that he does exist, and he will exist. He looks just like he would out of Mortal Kombat 11, so it's kind of cool to see that he's possibly going to make an appearance. Probably not in the movie, like in the forefront of the movie, but maybe like in the end, like credits or something. Hopefully not just his mouth or something like we got in the ending of the first movie from 1995, but maybe like he actually is like in an end credit scene where we get to see him like a Thanos role. So hopefully we'll see more of Nathan Johnson. All right, and finally, let's talk about Nitara. So we know that Nitara has been confirmed by Greg Russo that she is in the movie and will be played by Alyssa Caldwell. So we know that if she's in the movie, where is she? Why haven't we seen her yet? What is her purpose in the movie? Obviously, if they haven't shown her, does she play more of a pivotal role in the movie? I think from what they've shown us in the trailer, I'm not really sure she could, unless she's like maybe an ally slash villain. I know that like in Annihilation, I know, don't reference Annihilation, but like in Annihilation, we have Jade who kind of played, you know, good guy, bad guy. She like kind of helps Liu Kang, then betrays Liu Kang. Or maybe she's more like the Nightwolf character that's kind of like just like more of a bridge. So is she something that we'll kind of see more like in a training? Like we see that Liu Kang goes through some type of transformation. He's on a quest, possibly in the trailer, where he's like just walking with the sunset. So does he maybe run into Nitara or something and she helps cultivate his power or something? And we don't quite know, but that's just a theory. But we haven't seen Nitara yet, but we know we're going to see her because she's in the movie and has been confirmed. All right, so we think about my list of characters that we know are in the trailer for sure, that we have explained and broken down. And what about the ones we haven't seen yet? And what do you think about my theories about Kitana and Shao Kahn? Leave in the comments below your theories. And if you like this video overall, make sure you give it a thumbs up. For more like this one, make sure you hit the notification bell. And I'll see you guys next time on The Mashup.